Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back at here with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I got you guys the Week 17 quarterback start or sit decisions. Now, these are based off what I know as of right now. Right now, it is Christmas, but it is at night. Obviously, you guys are watching the next day, but right now, I'm just basing this off of all I know about these games, which quarterbacks are playing, which quarterbacks I think might end up sitting down halfway through these games, and my opinions on that. Now, as we get more updates in the rankings videos that comes later in the week, I will obviously have a much better idea and where those guys are going to be ranked, obviously based on if they're going to fucking play or not. Now, before I get into these Week 17 quarterback starter sit decisions, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy sports. Now, obviously, this channel is based off of fantasy football, but I still play NBA daily fantasy, and if you guys are new to it, you can come and play with me and join me as well there. I play pretty much every single day, and I have won some money on there, so I have gotten a bit better at that. But this week, right now, the best game to play for NFL, and the only game to play for NFL, is this quarterbacks only game. It is an $11 entry, but you're only playing the quarterbacks in this game for Week 17. Now, obviously, a lot of strategy is going to be different in this type of a game. It's just all about the quarterback. You don't have to worry about the running backs, the wide receivers, or the tight end, and it is very simple to play on this website. All you have to do is make, for the quarterbacks only, make 5 picks plus 3 alternate picks in case someone doesn't play. Someone ends up getting hurt before the game. They end up not getting the go. It is this simple. Pat Mahomes versus Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers versus Jameis Winston, Dak Prescott versus Ryan Tannehill. Who scores more fantasy points? It is that simple. Anyone can do it. So please make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Come and play with me this week. There will be a separate video later in the week explaining my picks on the website. And we are back. Please make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Y'all, and let's get right in the video. Week 17, quarterback, start, or sit decisions. The first game here is the Packers at the Detroit Lions. I like Aaron Rodgers in this game. This is a glorious, a beautiful matchup for Aaron Rodgers. This Detroit Lions defense is banged up. This Detroit Lions defense is fucking atrocious. I believe that Aaron Rodgers slaps them up one time in this game. I think that Aaron Rodgers has a big game in this game. The Packers need to win this game. They want to get that #1 slot to guarantee that they have a bye in the playoffs and get to play at home so that they have the best chance of getting to that Super Bowl. And obviously having a home field advantage, especially in a place like Lambeau, is a great opportunity for them. I believe that they smack up the Detroit Lions in this game. I'm going to be sitting down David Blau. Obviously, David Blau is a sorry quarterback. There's no way in fuck you can start him in fantasy football, especially in your championship game. Next game here, we got the Jets at the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to be sitting down both quarterbacks in this matchup. Now, I know if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, and if you haven't, make sure to click that subscribe button. But if you have, you know I love Josh Allen. But in my opinion, this matchup might be the ass fucking of the century. I think that the Bills might get up fast and get up early. Josh Allen slaps them up one time, if you are with me. I believe that he puts up a good game in like the first half, but then they just sit him down. Now, word that they sit him as a whole in this game. To me, it is not a guarantee that he plays the whole game, so I would be worried about that. So for that reason, he is a sit for me, even up against a trash Jets defense. I'm just sitting down Sammy Mono as well. This Bills defense proves to be no joke. They played well against the Patriots last week. I see no reason why they don't continue this success and play well up against the Jumbo Jets this week. I think that Sam Darnold really does not do all too much in this game. Next game here, we got the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots, now in Foxborough. I believe Tom Brady has a pretty good game. This is a must-win game for the Patriots. The Patriots are trying to make sure they have their best chance to play at home and have a better matchup for the playoffs. I believe that Tom Brady puts up a big spot in this game. Now, they're not going to need to put up 1,000,000 points to beat the Dolphins, obviously with a great defense for the Patriots, but I still think that Tom Brady does just enough this week to warrant him being a top start for the week. Obviously not a top 5 guy. To me, not even a top 10 guy. More of a top 12 type of option around the 11, 12, 13 range for me. I'm going to be sitting down Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, I know last week he absolutely smacked up the Cincinnati Bengals defense, but you know what the Patriots defense is? They're actually fucking good. The Cincinnati Bengals defense was taking a goddamn nap the whole fucking game and letting Ryan Fitzpatrick hit him from the back. How you like that? But Ryan Fitzpatrick is not going to put up that big of a spot in this game up against a tough New England Patriots defense. Next game here, we got the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to be sitting down, kissing titties, Mitchell Trubisky in this game. Now, I know a lot of people are going to try to be, thinking like, oh, Mitch Trubisky actually played good, besides last game up against the Kansas City Chiefs where he actually played fucking terrible and played like how Mitch Trubisky normally plays. He was actually pretty hot for a while there, so you could try to hop back on and try to ride the hotness. He just had one bad game. No, do not think that. Mitch Trubisky won't do shit up against this Vikings defense. This defense literally all fell in the second quarter up against the Green Bay Packers. They got sliced apart. Their defense legitimately all got hurt, but it doesn't matter. Mitch Trubisky, kissing titties Trubisky, will do nothing in this game. I'm just sitting down. You like that? Kirk Cousins in this game as well. I do not trust him up against this Bears defense, even though the Bears defense got slaughtered by the hands of Showtime Mahomes last week. Next game here, we get the Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. And speaking of Showtime Mahomes, he is obviously a start in this game. There's no shot in hell you bench Pat Mahomes in your championship game. I think even if they get up early, Pat Mahomes will put up enough points to warrant him being a start. I don't believe that they like to run the ball enough for Pat Mahomes to be a guy that you would want to even sit down, even if he only plays a half of football. I think he plays great in this game, and if he plays the whole game, he has the chance to be the number one quarterback on the week if the Chargers keep it close. I'm going to be sitting down Phillip Rivers. Obviously, the man with 12 kids just does not have it going on, just like Stacey's mom anymore. Phillip Rivers, I doubt, does much in this game. It seems like when they get around the 5 to 10 in the red zone, they're just fucking hammering the rock with Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, doing all that they can to avoid Phillip Rivers fucking it up and throwing them an interception. Literally, Phillip Rivers' game plan is that fucking meme where, he cocks the ball back and says, fuck it, Keenan Allen is out there somewhere. And that is what he does every single time. I do not trust Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers can rot in a goddamn hole for your fantasy football playoffs. Sit him down. Next game here, we got the Browns at the Bengals, two teams that are fucking awful. Now, before I get in this Browns at Bengals breakdown, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below if you have enjoyed the video thus far. I am sorry for smacking the microphone there. I love you all. I did not mean to cause damage to your eardrums. I'm probably going to have to edit that out. Now, I'm going to be starting up Andy Dalton in this game. I believe Andy Dalton puts up a big spot up against the Cleveland Browns. Last week up against the Miami Dolphins, he put up a big spot, and I believe he can do the same thing again this week. I know for sure he's going to play the whole game. They're going to let him ride it out, probably his last game as a starter as a Cincinnati Bengals before Joseph Burrow takes the reins next year. I believe Andy Dalton puts up a big game here, his final game as the Bengals quarterback starting. I think he gives the Browns the ass whooping of the century. Fuck the Browns. I believe that Baker Mayfield is a terrible start on the week. The Bengals defense is atrocious. I just do not trust Baker, the Faker Mayfield, to get it done this week. Next game here, we got the Saints at the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to be starting up Drew Brees in this game. I believe that Drew Brees puts up a big spot in this matchup. Obviously, the New Orleans Saints are trying to win as well. They're trying to elevate their spot in the playoff rankings and try to get up there to the 1 and 2 spots that they can secure that by. I believe that Drew Brees goes into Carolina and gives them the spanking of the century. I think that Drew Brees puts up a huge spot on this Carolina defense that is fucking atrocious. This Carolina defense that got spanked by Jacoby Brissett last week. I'm going to be sitting down Will Grier. He had no rhyme or reason last week to start him in fantasy football. You have no rhyme or reason to start him yet again this week. He played awful football last week, and I believe he does nothing good this week as well. You're going to sit him down and ride the pine for Will Grier. I like this game right here. The Falcons at the Buccaneers is the next game. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Nick, Jameis Winston last week didn't do anything. He had a bad game. You told me he would have a great game, and he sucked a big one. He didn't do anything for me. I fucking hate you. That is obviously a warranted response. Not actually at all. That was not a warranted response. Jameis Winston is going to have a huge comeback spot this week up against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons defense is not good. Jameis Winston may not be good. He may be an interception machine, but you know what else he is? A yard and touchdown machine. I believe he puts up a big spot on the week. I see no reason why Jameis Winston could potentially not be. He could be the number one fucking quarterback on the week. So you better believe in the famous one. Let him eat a W for your fantasy football championship and start him this week. I'm also going to be starting up Matty Ice in this game. The Buccaneers defense is good against the run. I know what you might be thinking though. Nick, last week Deshaun Watson didn't do anything up against the Buccaneers. Deshaun Watson's better than Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan is going to do shit this week because Deshaun Watson didn't do anything last week. You goddamn idiot. Well, if you look at the past for the Buccaneers, quarterbacks have been exposing them just like Jennifer Lawrence's goddamn nudes. All right, Matt Ryan is going to give a half-sized whatever, like a fucking, he's going to give a full chub straight into this Buccaneers defense. I believe Matt Ryan puts up a big spot in this game. Next game here, we got the Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sitting down both quarterbacks in this matchup. Now, obviously, Jacoby Brissett played quite well last week against an easy Carolina Panthers defense. I believe he does nothing in this game up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars defense is not good. I just don't trust Jacoby Brissett. They may just run the ball about 1, 2, 3,000 goddamn times in this game. They love Marlon Mack over there in Indianapolis. I'm also going to be sitting down Gardner Minshew in this game. For me, Gardner Minshew is either going to have a good game or a terrible game. There's really no in-between for Gardner Minshew, and I'm not going to roll the dice, throw him at the wall, and pray to the fantasy heavens. Please, fantasy Lord, let Gardner Minshew score multiple touchdowns. I am just not going to risk the biscuit on that. If you guys are a bit risky, go ahead, maybe start Gardner Minshew, but he is not for me this week. Next game here, we got the Eagles at the Giants, a game that the Eagles have to win, and I believe that this matchup is a high-scoring matchup, just like we saw between the Giants and the Washington Redskins last week. Two defenses that are not really that good up against the pass. You know, against the run, the Eagles are actually pretty good, but against the pass, they're fucking terrible, okay? Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones are going to go blow for blow, back and forth, like some type of a Game of Thrones battle. They're fighting back and forth. They're trying to take whatever the fuck they want to take, and I believe Carson Wentz and DJ put up a big game. Carson Wentz I like slightly more, but Daniel Jones put up a career game last week. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 fucking touchdowns, a rookie record. I believe that Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones put up big spots in this game. 2 not-so-hot defenses, and a game that the Eagles have to win. I believe it will be high scoring. Next game here, we got the Cardinals at the L.A. Rams. I am going to be starting up Jared Goff in this game. I know in the running back video, the wide receiver video, I clowned Jared Goff a bit, but he actually had a pretty good game last week up against the San Francisco 49ers. I think he continues it this week up against the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals defense is fucking atrocious, but I do worry a lot about the fact that the LA Rams may end up benching Jared Goff. They may not try to get their man that they paid a lot of fucking money for, who's really not that good. They paid a lot of money for Jared Goff. They may not want to get him hurt in this game. If he plays, if he starts, you go ahead and play him up against the Cardinals, but I believe he may end up being one of those guys that is a healthy scratch. You don't let him fucking play and get hurt up against the Rams, or up against the Cardinals, so he can play next year. I'm going to be sitting down Kyler Murray because I believe he is banged up. If he ends up playing, he is not a start for me. If Brett Hundley is playing, he is not a start for me as well. Sit both of these Cardinals quarterbacks down. Next game on the slate, we got the Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to be sitting down both quarterbacks in this matchup. I do not believe in RG3 enough. I think they obviously go out there and win the game up against the Steelers. I think that the coaching is good enough to beat them, but I would not trust Ryan Griffin III up against a tough Steelers defense, especially a guy who has not gotten too many reps on the year. And RG3 is a goddamn piece of glass. He's going to get run over in this game. He may end up dying on the goddamn field. I do not trust RG3 in this game. Devlin Ducky Hodges gets the start in this game up against this Baltimore Ravens defense. I don't believe he does anything notable in this game. Even if half the defense was sleeping, I do not believe in Ducky Hodges. Next game here, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans. I'm going to be starting up Deshaun Watson in this game. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Nick, you goddamn idiot. Deshaun Watson did nothing up against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers defense is terrible. The Titans defense is actually pretty good. What are you thinking? Deshaun Watson has a bounce back game in this game. They have to win this game up against the Tennessee Titans. If the Titans end up winning this game, they could pass them. They could hop into the playoffs. The Texans may potentially not even make the playoffs. I'm not even sure if that's actually true, but I know that the Titans need to win this game, and I think the Houston Texans are going to want to win this game as well to potentially move themselves up even further. Deshaun Watson is a must start every single week. Even if he had a bad game last week, I believe he bounces back this week up against the Houston Texans in a game I see potentially being very high score. I'm going to be starting up Ryan Tannehill as well. Tanny God lost last week, but I believe he puts up a great game yet again, just like he did last week. Ryan Tannehill has been on fire. You're going to ride the flame until it dies, and if it dies in your championship, you better hope it doesn't. It's probably going to die next week when they play in the playoffs and they get their ass soaked, just like the Tennessee Titans always do. Next game here, we got the Oakland Raiders at the Denver Broncos. I'm just sitting down both quarterbacks in this matchup. Derek Carr, Horsecock, Drew Lock. Neither of these guys really, to me, are the kind of guy that you just want to be starting in this game. Two defenses that really are not that good, two quarterbacks that really are not that good, and two quarterbacks that I would not trust to rely my fantasy football season on. Sure, if you're feeling risky or feeling dangerous, go ahead and play Horsecock, Drew Lock. He could potentially throw 3 touchdowns in this game. I would not be surprised if that happened. Am I going to rely on it? No. So that is why both of these guys are a sit for me on the week. Next game here, we got the Redskins at the Dallas Cowboys. I believe this is the Sunday Night Football special. Obviously, you got to watch the Cowboys yet again. Cowboys in a must-win game. I believe Dakota Prescott puts up a big spot in this game. Last week up against the Philadelphia Eagles, Dak Prescott was snoring in Jerry's World. He was sleeping. Actually, they were in Philadelphia, but he was sleeping. He did nothing in this game. I believe he has a huge bounce-back spot. This Redskins defense got absolutely torched by Danny Dimes last week. I believe that Dak Prescott could do the exact same thing this week. I'm going to be sitting down Case Keenum. Obviously, Dwayne Hashcans, the trash can, was actually looking pretty hot up against the Giants last week, but he ended up getting hurt. I doubt that they were going to risk a quarterback like Dwayne Haskins, the guy they believe to be the future in this game. So obviously, Case Keenum is going to be a sit. I just do not trust him. The final game here is the Monday Night Football special between the 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm going to be starting up Russell Wilson and Jimmy G Spot, Jimmy GQ, Jimmy Guap, Jimmy Garoppolo in this game. Russell Wilson obviously last week did not have the hottest game, around 10 points in all of my leagues. I think this week he has a bounce back spot. This game is going to be high scoring. We saw this game a couple of weeks ago. It was very interesting and a very good game. Both of the quarterbacks put up great spots, and I believe the same exact thing happens this week. Russell Wilson to me is a top 5 start. Jimmy GQ, a top 10 option. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you end up enjoying, please make sure to click that subscribe button. I hope you guys all had a glorious and amazing Christmas. I hope you guys enjoyed the new microphone. Please click that subscribe button and check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Goodbye. I love you all.